Joining us on another wrestling podcast is one of the strongest competitors ever to lace up a pair of boots. He's enjoyed lots of success as one half of the Powers of Pain and went on to destroy the competition on his own. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Warlord.
How you doing, guys?
Doing great. I just want to remind everybody, this Friday, Saturday, fans can see you at ECPW in Roselle Park, New Jersey, and Brooklyn, New York for ECPW. Check out ecpw1.com for more info. But more importantly, how's everything going these days?
Everything's going great, man. They're keeping my partner and me really busy, going around the country every weekend. We were just on WrestleMania last Friday doing a bunch of legend signings and that stuff, and then we were in Houston on Saturday.
Great.
Awesome. Well, as fans of wrestling, Steve and I spent countless hours watching any wrestling we could get our hands on growing up. Was that the same for you? Were you a big fan of wrestling as when you were growing up?
Actually, you know what? I lived in Minneapolis growing up, and I used to watch the old AEWA with Nick Bockwinkel, Billy Robinson, a whole bunch of the old stars up there in there because we didn't have cable TV at that time. So I actually watched it growing up like that. Then I went on to college, and that's the first time I ever saw WWF come on. Found Superfly Jimmy Snuka, British Bulldogs, all them, and I just decided at that time, I said, you know what, that'd be pretty cool to maybe be a wrestler someday.
Awesome. Now, you got started in the business by a chance, a meeting with Animal from the Legion of Doom. Had you ever thought about being a wrestler prior to that moment?
I thought about it, but when Animal discovered me, it was a place called Big Jim in Pullman, Minnesota. Yeah, we sat down. He said, you know what? He said, I think it'd be really cool, man. You should go ahead and get trained by Eddie Sharkey and come out there and try to become a professional wrestler. I thought, yeah, man, that'd be cool. It'd be a lot of fun.
Well, who actually ended up training you, and what did you think about after your first day of training? Were you having second thoughts at all?
Well, I got trained by Eddie Sharkey, same ones that did the Road Warriors. Did a whole bunch of the guys up from Minnesota. After the first day, I was sore because we didn't have a wrestling ring actually up there. We taped mats together, wrestling mats together on top of concrete floor in the basement of a church. Outside it was about 20 below zero. You could see a breath down there, and we would slam each other, do all the stuff on top of that, and just beat the heck out of one another till it was just black and blue. But you loved it so much, you just wanted to keep doing it, whether how much you got hurt, whatever, it didn't matter. You just wanted to keep doing it.
Sure. Now, did you ever how did you decide on the Warlord as your ring name? Is there any unique story behind that one?
That was another one with Animal. We sat down one day, we started kicking on names. He was kicking on names, I was kicking on names, and also he popped up Warlord. It was just a offset from the Road Warriors. He said, I would both look at each other. I said, that's it right there, man. That's a perfect name.
Nice.
That's awesome. Now, after you came up with your name, it says that, you spent some time, you sent some pictures down to Dusty Rhodes, and you were hired by him and started working for Jim Crockett Promotions. What was your first impression of Dusty Rhodes?
Dusty was a unique individual, I didn't really know Dusty. But when you first meet him, there's something about him and that stuff. For somebody that didn't have the body, didn't have the look, he had one of the greatest ring personas there ever was as far as charisma. His charisma was incredible. I mean, just what he could do out there, the way he could fit the working class man out there, the way he could talk, the way he could do the things in the ring was incredible. That charisma took him, as far as he could go, and he was just a great wrestler with it.
Sure. Now, do you have any memories of maybe your very first match? Did anything ever stand out to you about your first match?
Yeah, it does. I actually worked with George South. Dusty put me together with Baby Doll, which was with their group, with Dusty and all their group at the time. And I had never really even been in a ring yet. And I was in that kind of getting prepared for it. And I go out there. I think I did 3 moves. I pressed over my head. I chopped them. I pinned them. I got up and I said, man, this is pretty cool. I'm getting paid for doing something like this. I like this, man. I want to keep doing this. But I'll tell you what, I was nervous because those older veterans in back, they had me going the whole time. The back there, hey, kid, don't worry about it, man. you get out there, you're only in front of about 2 million people watching at home, so don't worry. At that time, you're going to the bathroom about every 2 minutes.
Well, you also spent some time wrestling in Japan. I can only imagine what their thoughts were, going down the street and seeing someone like you and your size. Were people pretty much parting the ways whenever you walked by in Japan?
Yeah, they do. Those people are very, very, very good people over there. They bow to you a lot. They're very into wrestling. They're not a kid with a boisterous. They're people that when they see something that's a real good or strong move, they clap, and that shows you that they really appreciate a lot. When you get up to bow to you again, it's really unique over there. I really love going to Japan.
Nice. Oh, well, after Japan, you also came back to Jim Crockett Promotions and got paired with the Barbarian, forming the Powers of Pain. During this time, you started feuding also with the Legion of Doom. Did you guys like working against each other, or like working with the Legion of Doom?
So I love working with Animal Hawk. They're incredible. I mean, you got maybe the best tag team of all time. They changed tag team wrestling with the way they looked, the moves they did, everything that came together. Just like I said, they were the persona of what tag team wrestling was going to at that time. And to go get in the ring with them, work with them, and have incredible matches was just so much fun.
Well, you guys spent a lot of time in Crockett Promotions together, but then you made the move to WWF. How did that move come about? I know that there's some stories out there about you guys leaving after the scaffold matches were presented to you guys, but did Vince and them contact you, or did you guys contact them? How did that all work?
It actually came down to Barb called me one night. I was home. It was on, I believe, it was a Thursday night. The way he talks, Barb was, "Hey, Teddy, Grizzly Adams called me. They want us to fly tomorrow morning to Atlanta." I said, "Okay, Barb, let's go to Atlanta. We're off tomorrow." So we flew to Atlanta. There was a limo waiting for us. Took us to this big hotel. Took us up to his room. Opened the room door. There sits Pat Patterson, Vince McMahon, and Hulk Hogan. So we sit at the table. They go through the whole spiel. And it's now a Friday at this time. And they go, at the end of that, Barb goes, Barb didn't talk that much back then. I couldn't believe he talked. He goes, Barb goes, "When do you want us to start?" And they go, "We want you to start Monday." And I looked at Barb and said, "Monday?" I said, "Is that Monday next week or Monday later?" "No, next Monday." I said, "Wow, man, we got all this stuff and that coming up and that, but Barb wanted to go, and it was a great opportunity at the time, and to be with those three in the same room at the same time, it was cool, man. So we did. Plus, we knew we were going to be the ones falling up that scaffold every night. We were going to take those 20-foot drops every night. Sooner or later, you're going to hurt a leg.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, we hear a lot of people talk about how different other promotions were from the WWF back at that time. What were your initial thoughts of the WWF getting in there?
Listen, at that time, WWF was, when you make it to, the NWA was a stepping stone yet. Mm-hmm. When you make it to WWF, you've made it. You've made it to the elite of the elites, Yep. All I remember is our first time we got to the first TV, and Barb and me walking there, we got our bags in our hands. We're going back to the locker rooms, and here walks by Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, and all of a sudden there comes Randy Savage. And we both drop our bags, and Randy comes up and goes, "What's up, brother?" And I looked at Barb afterwards. He walked past. I said, "Barb, that's his real voice, man. I can't believe it." This is cool, man. I mean, we've actually made it to the biggest organization in the world, which was a lot of fun.
Well, you just mentioned the Ultimate Warrior. Obviously, Demolition, Legion of Doom, and yourselves all had painted faces at that time. When they brought you in, was there ever any talk about you guys not actually having your faces painted?
No, not at all. They actually wanted us to have our faces painted at the time, and I really hadn't painted my face up at that time yet, so I had to try coming up. Actually, Barbarian was actually doing the painting for me at the time, and we were just trying to come up with something that would make sense with what he was doing. And we just kept doing, finally come up with it, and then I had to learn how to do it. And now I can almost do it in my sleep now all the time.
Now, we mentioned Legion of Doom earlier, but were there any other favorite tag teams that you got a chance to work with while you're in the WWF?
There's such great tag teams. We got a bunch with the Bushwhackers, they're called the Bolsheviks. Probably one of the best and some of the best matches we ever had was working with the Rockers. I mean, those guys, they put parachutes on for you. I mean, you could throw them 20 feet in the air, they come down a parachute down to the goddamn ring and that stuff, and
Sure.
just a lot of fun with those guys. They were incredible. We worked with the Hart Foundation, which was incredible to work with, Brett and Jimmy at the time. It was a lot of fun working with all that stuff. And of course, Demolition out there. That's what tag team wrestling was, tag team wrestling. And all those tag teams were just incredible. I mean, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, had them in that one Survivor Series. I mean, they all were just incredible tag teams.
Well, you also enlisted the help of Mr. Fuji as a manager, who's obviously one of the greatest managers of all time. What was it like to have him as a manager?
Fuji was great because he knew the psychology of wrestling. We knew how to wrestle, but to actually get psychology out there and to learn why things are the way they are, when you do something, why you do it, that's what Fuji would watch us, and he would teach us. And afterwards, you go back and we go through things, and he would show us, this is what you should have done, this is the way we change it, and do those things, which makes you a far better tag team.
That's great. And now, Mr. Fuji is also known for pulling a lot of ribs on people. Were you ever the target of any of those ribs?
No, thank God. Fuji loved it. I know a lot of people that didn't like it so much. And listen, if Fuji liked it, he wouldn't rib it. If he didn't like it, forget it, man. You weren't sleeping.
Now, after a while, the WWF decided to, break up the Powers of Pain, and you went a little bit of a makeover. What did you think about the mask and the shoulder thing and the staff? Like, were you a fan of it?
It was a neat concept because it was very futuristic. It was a futuristic looking warrior and that stuff. I liked it and that stuff. I mean, it was a whole different thing from what we were doing, and it took me a little while to get used to it. I think once I got used to it, I was able to start getting it over really good. But like I say, it was a lot different, and also being a singles competitor was a lot different, again, than being a tag team wrestler.
Yeah. Now, whenever they were pitching this to you or telling you that this is the idea that they kind of had for you, was there anything else that they had, or was this pretty much the one idea that they wanted to give you?
That was pretty much the one idea they wanted to get. I remember when I was doing that mask, they flew me up to a place like in upper New York, and there was a place that you'd have to put, they put a straw in my mouth and put plaster of Paris on my face. And I had to sit there and wait, I don't know how many hours that sort of dried on my face, so I could actually have a mask that was formed to the look of my face.
Wow. Now, also, when you broke off from the Barbarian, did you enjoy being a singles wrestler? I mean, because you were tagging for a while too. Did you like the singles action?
I like both. I love tagging because Barbarian, I learned a lot from Barbarian. I mean, I think he is one of the best big man wrestlers there's ever been. The agility, what he could do. I mean, just the things. I mean, Barbarian's incredible. He's an incredible wrestler for a big man. But also it was nice doing singles, because, I got to work some really nice feuds. I got to work a great one. I got to go out there and learn with Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Tito Santana. Had some great matches, of course, British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. And I got to have a nice run with Bret Hitman Hart when he had the international belt, which I learned a lot working with Bret. That's another guy, just an incredible wrestler.
Well, you are obviously very active still today, but what do you still watch wrestling today? Are you still a fan of it?
I really don't get a chance to watch anymore. It's changed so much. The psychology's not out there anymore. Now it's a lot of big moves. That's become to hurt so much because they're doing all these big moves, all these big bumps and that stuff. And your body can only take so much, and you end up getting hurt all the time. They're not actually letting the fans be a part of the match anymore. Settling down, letting get the fans into it, and let them be a part of it and that stuff. I mean, it's just like, it's all boom, 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 boom all the time and that stuff. Not actually settling down and getting the people going with it, and then you do your things out of it. It's changed a lot now.
Definitely. Now, as we mentioned earlier, this weekend, you're wrestling for ECPW, and you're doing a lot of conventions, like you said last week, and autograph signings. What's your favorite part about these kind of events?
Meeting the people. Seeing the people that really appreciate the wrestling, how much they love your era and that stuff. And actually, they come out just to see that you're in good health yet. You look good. You've been able to take care of yourself and that stuff. And people really appreciate that a lot. They appreciate that you've done all that stuff. And and see you get on the ring and just do a few of the old things that you used to do in that stuff. People really love that.
Well, you've made quite an impact on not only the fans but other wrestlers over the years. How do you feel knowing that you helped mold some of the best wrestlers in the world with the likes of Chris Jericho and Batista?
I love it, man. I mean, I was funny. I haven't seen Chris in a while. We were at a steakhouse in Dallas on Barbarian New in a steakhouse on Friday night. Real good steakhouse in Dallas. And Chris Jericho and his family came in there. And I grabbed Chris real quick. And Chris, of course, was telling an old story about me to Barb and our other friend Mikey that was with us. But when I was in Japan, I'm just a person. One thing I ever want when I travel, just feed me. I want to eat. I just want to eat. I'll do whatever. Just feed me. So it was like one of these little Japan places where Chris and me were at, and we could not. It was like everything rolled up at 7 o'clock. Man, I was hot. I was just throwing a fit. I gave a guy a couple other guys just up this goddamn place just to feed me. I didn't care. I wanted to eat that night, And Chris, of course, had it in his book. He was telling those guys, some of the stories. But it's an honor because Chris is just one hell of a wrestler. The way, what he's done in that stuff, his career and everything else, and of course Batista. Now, I mean, not only is a man, an international superstar in wrestling, now he's an international superstar of movies. I mean, he's doing incredible, and that's an honor coming from Batista, what he put in his book and everything else. And I met him one time in Orlando back in 2008 at WrestleMania. It was a surprise. Someone set me up, and he came around the corner to give me a big hug, which was so cool. I mean, the guy is that's an honor coming from Batista.
Sure. And now, we talked a lot about wrestling today, but other than wrestling, what do you like to do to keep yourself busy these days?
I'm down here in South Florida. I work a lot. I do private security and that stuff, and it keeps me pretty busy down here all the time. I mean, I've been there, like I said, I've been out with Barbarian quite a few weekends on the road again and that. And during the weekdays, I do that. And then, of course, the other time, I got my little grandson I've raised since he was born. He's 5 years old now, and that's my best little buddy on this earth.
Awesome.
We can't wait to see you this weekend. But where else can fans keep up with you? Do you keep up with like social media or anything today? Where can fans or promoters find you if they're looking for you?
We're just trying to do a nice little Facebook page. A friend of ours, Mikey in North Carolina, is helping us out. He set up a nice little Facebook page for Powers of Pain. It's showing our bookings. If they want to go ahead and look in the book us, they can contact us on that, and we can get back with them and that stuff. And we're looking, of course, we're older guys, so starting to catch up on the age of technology now. We're going to start getting Twitter coming up. I'm going to start getting that set up. We're going to try to get caught up on the latest technology now so we get caught up with the way everybody else is now.
Well, that's great. Warlord, thank you so much. Once again, everybody listening this weekend, be sure to check out East Coast Pro Wrestling this weekend, Friday and Saturday at Roselle Park, New Jersey. The Powers of Pain are taking on heavy duty. Head on over to ecpw1.com for more information. And once again, Saturday in Brooklyn, New York at Our Lady of Guadalupe School. So thank you so much once again, the Warlord. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it a lot.